This morning, I watched an interesting interview by Darius J. Wright, Wright, Darius J. Wright, and he goes by that name on YouTube too. He is a out-of-body experiencer and has seen some amazing things, which I have received personal awareness of without having the visual experience, but I have the sensory knowing, the conscious knowing of what he says and describes in much greater detail. And the thing that I was going to talk about here is that when we obtain this greater, quote unquote, greater state of awareness and insight through the single eye, you get a bird's eye view of one small microcosmic experience in the universe of universes. When a person has this conscious overview and sees this one little speck, a speck as in spectacle, that's going on here on Earth, on this one little pinprick of a reality, you will understand the almost nonchalant, uncaring stance and attitude that an ascended master seems to display. Even Jesus. There are a few statements that he made that to a lower consciousness, a lower awareness, just within this 3D construct, within this earth realm, would consider very rude and uncaring and unkind. And in particular, a couple of sayings that come to mind that I remember reading about Jesus saying is when the man that wanted to follow him said, let me first go and say goodbye to my father and my family and bury my father. And Jesus said, let the dead bury their dead. Seems very uncaring and very callous to say to a grieving person, but there is higher significance to this saying than what is apparent on the surface. The other one is, let me think, this one was let the dead bury the dead, and the poor you will always have with you, but me, you're not going to have all the time. So, where Mary spent that very expensive ointment on Jesus's feet rather than giving that money to the poor. It's a perspective, a higher perspective will cause us to lose our sense of self-sacrifice. You realize that none of that really matters in the grand scheme of things. And that every soul is actually responsible for themselves. Poverty only exists because of the poverty of spirit. When a soul is really in amnesia about its state, its identity, when it's in a victim state of mind. A victim state of mind creates poverty, and that's why the poor will always be with us, because there will always be souls that are in a poverty state of mind until they ascend to a higher consciousness. So back to my point, for people that obtain a higher consciousness and an overview of what is really going on in this earth life, they can appear to be losing their care and concern for what is transpiring here on earth, because they recognize that it is truly just a video game, and it really has no lasting meaning except for experience and what we take away from this experience. It's only temporary, and it's just meant to shape our soul. And since we're not in the business of conforming in cookie cutter style, this is the journey for each individual soul to take, and to take away the experiences from this video game. So, yeah, higher perspective, higher consciousness will alleviate the angst, the concern, the helplessness, and we just see it for what this is, a game. The game of experiencing contrast. The game of experiencing the lowest of densities and energies, which this is the only place where this can be experienced. When the soul leaves this earth existence, it goes to another realm to experience something else. But you are never the victim. You're just playing the role of the victim in a video game that lasts for 10 minutes, if we compare it to timeless eternity. So don't take this life too serious. Flow with it. Take in all the experiences, and which are just things to store away in your soul, in your attaché, so to speak, in your story, in the book that is written about your soul. Right? Have an adventurous day today, and keep on flowing.